What's up, guys? Excuse me. Whew. Matt, Legacy 4x4. This time we're working on the exhaust of the, you guessed it, the Tuggy Buggy. So let's get to it. All right, my SD33 has the stock manifold still on it and stock downpipe still on it. And since all of that is in place, I don't see a real reason to change it, so I'm not gonna change it. I'm happy with that. I don't think I'm gonna gain too much performance changing it, so it's there for good. The stock downpipe loops under the entire engine and transmission, and then it comes over to the passenger side of the transfer case. As you can see right there, the stock downpipe ends at a 2-inch diameter tube and pointing slightly upwards to the back of the Tuggy Buggy. To link that downpipe to the rest of the vehicle, I'm going to use some exhaust parts I bought on the good old Amazon. I've got two 2-inch exhaust clamps. These clamps are pretty cool. They allow you to clamp two pieces of 2-inch tube together, make an airtight seal, hopefully, and then it also allows it to be removable because obviously you can just loosen the clamp. So that's why I'm using these. I've also got some stock exhaust hangers. Nothing fancy about these. The muffler I'm running is an Evil Energy branded muffler. As you can see, I've been farting around with this already and I have an exhaust clamp and a hanger partially attached to it. Just kind of messing around ahead of this video. The muffler is a straight through design, so it should add plenty of magnitude and throat to the exhaust note. And I just like that burnt tip on it. I know it's a cheap Chinese knockoff, but it's just a muffler, so this is what I'm gonna run for now. Maybe I'll upgrade in the future, but likely not. In terms of tubing, I bought 7 feet of Walker exhaust 2-inch straight tubing. This used to be straight, but like I said, I've been farting around with this stuff, so I made a few test bends in it and a few test kinks in it to get my tube kinker functioning properly on this. And I'm happy with how the bends look. So I'm ready to start cutting and test fitting everything in place. It's a really simple project. Exhaust work is one of the easier things I get to do on this whole vehicle compared to, you know, the rest of it. So let's go ahead and knock this exhaust out. All right, you can see the tubes are kind of halfway lined up. And instead of welding this in place and telling you how it's gonna look afterwards, I'm gonna show you a rough idea of what I'm going for right now. And that is gonna be connecting those two pieces right there with a removable tube clamp. Make this whole back section removable just in case I need to pull the engine or something. It's gonna follow the body lines, and then I have to put a slight bend in this to match the bend of the chassis. And then it's gonna dump and have a slight angled dump pipe. So that's the look we're gonna go for. So I'm gonna go ahead and start marking this up, making some cuts, and rebending and retesting everything. All right, so I went ahead and made some rough cut measurements. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the tails off this pipe. That way I'm only working with the section that I need. I am using my exceptionally shitty chop saw to make these cuts. It's what I'm gonna use. It should make a pretty clean cut. It's just slow and makes a lot of dust. So let's knock it out. All right, so we got our piece cut off and roughly set in place, and just by looking at it, I can tell a few things. I need to make this angle right where my hand is a little bigger, give that dump a little more of a dumping effect. Probably gonna need to cut some more off the tail end of that side. And as well, if we're coming straight off the collector just like that, I'm gonna need to even this up. So I'm gonna need to make a slight bend towards the outside. So go ahead and mark those, and we can take it over and do little increments at a time until we get it right. All right, so let's talk making this sideways bend. As you can see, my piece of steel is perpendicular to how it's gonna be in the buggy. So those are the bends that are gonna dump, and I have it perpendicular. That way I can push that side bend into it. In terms of how far I wanna push, I'm just gonna play this one by ear and give it a few cranks, look at it, take it out, and check fit it, and then bring it back over and just repeat the same process. So I'm gonna go ahead and get cranking away on this. This pipe bending, tube bending contraption I have is not the best in the world, but it works a-okay. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything up, put a little bend in this, and go test fit. And again, just like anything else, the secret is don't do it too much, or else it's going to not go back into shape. You know, kind of like you can't uncut something. It's really hard to unbend something properly, and I didn't buy spare tubes, so little increments at a time is what we're gonna go for. And as you can see, there is a slight bend in it now. So that probably isn't enough, but we're gonna go test fit and be sure. All right, I went ahead and clamped on the new material to the old exhaust pipe using that 2-inch exhaust clamp, just so I could get a much more accurate mock-up for holding everything in place with the exhaust tube. You can see it's that silver tube in there. And I'm really happy I didn't add any more bend to that middle section, since it is about perfectly even right now. And if I added any more to that, it would have been uneven the wrong way, which would have sucked and I would have been upset about it. So that's how that looks. Everything's nice and flush, happy with that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hang the muffler in place, see how far I want it to be up there, and see where I'm gonna put it. I'm just gonna repeat that same process, so cutting and clamping. All right guys, for me, I'm gonna want that exhaust as far up on that bend as possible. So right when that bend starts to deform, I'm going to add about 2 inches of space and then chop it there. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that, and we can begin to cut that again. And then when we come back, we'll clamp on the muffler, and then we'll put the hangers on after that. All right, so everything's in place. I'm happy with the fitment, and this is how it looks. And that's how it dumps. You know, that exhaust clamp's not the prettiest thing in terms of looks. I probably could just weld that into that stainless section of muffler, but this sure is easier, man. I think this took me 20 minutes to put together, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it like that, and that's how the exhaust is gonna look on the Tuggy Buggy. The hanger for this rear one over here is not welded in. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the welder on and burn that in, and we can call this one done. Nice, quick, and easy project. It's always a good day when you get to use the new welding gloves for the first time, so let's go ahead and burn this in. Nice little gentle massage once it's tacked in place, trying to get everything nice and flush. And for all the welding snobs out there, I know this paint is not ground off and it's not going to be a perfect weld the first time, but this is just one really light coat of this green paint, and it's going to burn right through it. So I'm not too worried about it. It's also just an exhaust hanger, so I could really care less. It's going to be on there plenty adequate for what I need it for. So that's for the exhaust snobs. Let's get to it. Shortcuts, shortcuts, shortcuts. All right, don't know if that's focusing, but that's a nice little close-up of everything welded in place. You know, welding exhaust hangers, it doesn't have to look the prettiest, especially considering how some other professional shops do their exhaust welds, so that's perfectly adequate. I'm very happy with that. Recapping the exhaust, you can see the exhaust steel pipe coming from under that PRP seat, rolls all the way up, and then dumps right at the back of the Tuggy Buggy, so I'm happy with that. Don't know how likely that area right there is to get smashed by rocks when I have my full-size tires on it, because it'll be past where that dumps, but we'll see. I guess we'll have to play that one out by ear when we get there. That is how the exhaust looks on the Tuggy Buggy. So yeah, I'm very satisfied with that. I think that worked performance job absolutely adequately, and I'm like I said, I'm satisfied. So that's it for the exhaust, guys. I know that was a fast one, but that's it in place. Happy with that. Quick little project done. So next time, it might be Coyote B-locks, might be hydraulic steering, might be, I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot of things it might be. So without spoiling it, I'm just going to say that's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys next time.